This broadcast is brought to you by... Walking is a principle I'm sure everyone over the age of 10 months old is familiar with. And if you're currently a baby who is studying walking, allow me to translate for you. You know, people walk every day. On a sidewalk, on a runway show, on a killing spree. It's one of the most popular parts of our day. Now we also run, whether that be on a sidewalk, a runway show, or away from the police. Okay, wait, it looks like that's the last line I wrote. I don't have anything else. Yeah, there's no transition. Okay, today we're animating walking and running. Hey, welcome back to the unscripted part of this video with your host, me. So I'm not gonna lie, this is my second time recording this footage. The first one got corrupted. So we're gonna try this again, but basically what I'm gonna show you today is how I created this little animation of a walking and running cycle. Give it a second to render. So, what are you guys doing today? Okay, so here we have it. It may look slightly complex, but I'm gonna try to break it down for you to kind of make it seem more simplified and just, you know, less spooky. Okay, so when animating a walking cycle, the two basic poses that you're gonna want is the contact position where both feet are touching the ground, and then the passing point where the front leg is bending up and the back leg is planted to the ground and positioning the body straight up. So yeah, this is going at 24 frames a second, and I have it that every 7th frame it goes to the next position. So just with this right here, we have a very, very basic but effective walking animation. When we have it looping like this, it doesn't make sense that the front leg from our perspective is constantly behind. So, you know, to actually be realistic, it's gonna end up going in front and then going back. So then this frame, I quickly drew that in with the first recording just to kind of demonstrate how it should be overlapping. And then yeah, with these 4 frames, then you have an effective walking loop, basically. Oh, my battery's about to die on my camera. Oh. Okay, so the process of getting from here to here is not as difficult as it may seem. So what I want to start with right now is basically my process to creating a walk cycle. So there are 2 main ways to approach animating this. The less common way is doing a straight on. So this will basically imply you start withdrawing the first frame, the next frame, and then so on. This can be good when animating stuff that kind of has unpredictable movement, such as fire and whatnot, but when you're doing something like this, it can be very difficult and not exactly the best thing to do. So what I did, which is the much more common method and the recommended method, is to do pose by pose. So as you can see here, with these 2 basic drawings, these are the ones that I started with, right? And then by doing that, you establish the correct timing as well as the correct positioning, right? Because an issue with animating with straight on is that the image can get more inconsistent as it progresses because you don't really have an end image to base off of, right? So what I do instead is by animating pose by pose, you're basically creating bridges between each middle point, which can make it a lot easier. So here we have what is referred to as the onion skin. This basically shows what the previous and next frames are going to be without actually being on them in the timeline. So what I'm going to do is create a curve, because as we know, as we learned with anatomy, the body and its limbs curve in arcs. So we got that, and then we're going to try to find the middle. So I'm going to just do a rough guess at around here, right? So then we have, if we're just focusing on the joint itself of the knee, we can see how it goes there to there to there. It's kind of being covered by the other leg, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I just did that with all the joints, and then I connected them with the lines here. I rinsed and repeated that, and then I had a full animation. Yeah, and then here, this is all the drawings I used for this. Now I'm just gonna preface right now, when I animate the One Piece episode eventually, I will not do this. The motions will not be this refined, I guess, because this takes a long time to do. It's because this is 24 drawings. This image only lasts for 1 second. so it's not a really effective thing to do. I think the most common method for animating is to animate on 2s or 3s. That implies that you skip a frame and then go to the next one, or if you're doing it by 3s, you skip 2 frames and then go to the next one. But then for this, I just want to create a nicely detailed animation of walking, and it's not perfect by any means. The main issue I find is the arm swing. It's not bad, but I feel like I could have had a bit more swing to them. I think it's slightly better with the running because they are correctly doing a full swing as arms do when you do a run, which is what I want to talk about now, is kind of the bending motion of the joints. So when I was here, I'm going to stand up and show you. But yeah, when we're walking, the arms don't move that much, I guess, in comparison to the running portion, because when we're running, we have the arm bent usually at a 90-degree angle, and then we do large thrusts, basically. Large thrusts, large swings, yeah. And you can see as it goes into the run, I have him leaning over a lot more, just because, you know, when you're running, you're leaning over more as you anticipate longer strides and, you know, go a lot further. But yeah, I'm gonna treat the running cycle and the walking cycle individually, because my first intention upon animating this was to have these be separate scenes, but then as I was done this, it was kind of an afterthought to try to have it transition into a run, but it's not too smooth, I'm not gonna lie. If I had thought about it beforehand, I feel like I could have executed it better, but this is how it turned out. I don't think it's the worst. I think it's important to note how the body itself moves in correlation with the legs. So we can see the highest point of the guy is about right here, right? That's the peak of their height. And then the lowest point is when their legs are spread away the furthest, right? Alright, so now I'm going to discuss the timing of the running and walking sequences. So we can see here for the walking, I have him moving at 2 steps per second. So for every 24 frames, he's going to take 2 steps. That equates to 1 step every 12 frames. And then with running, of course, they're going to take quicker steps. So I just doubled that, and I have him taking a step every 6 frames. So then in total, they are taking 4 steps, which when looped is going to look something like this. And also, if anyone knows how to get rid of the green outline that is surrounding that, that's a result of the keyframes. I don't know if anyone watching this uses Clip Studio Paint, but that is what I'm using. I don't know how to get rid of it. It's not going to show if I were to export it, but just like in the editing stage, it is there. So if anyone knows how to fix that, please help. Thank you. But yeah, I have been doing that. I didn't want to make this video too long because I feel like with the anatomy one, that was a bit too long, and I don't know if it was really entertaining or grasping at a lot of people's attention spans. So yeah, I'm trying to condense this a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of what I learned. I want to say the main source of knowledge from all this comes from Richard Williams, the Animator's Survival Kit. If you are interested in going to animation, I cannot recommend this book enough. I don't think I can show any content from it because I'm pretty sure that's illegal, so I won't do that. But for the walking, for like just learning how to animate walking and running cycles, I base all my knowledge just off of this book itself, and then like some other stuff off of websites. But yeah, this stuff is very helpful. It teaches you the exact timing you should do for walks, different ways a character can walk, and adding personality to them. It's very good. I cannot recommend it enough. Again, yeah, that is the Animator's Survival Kit by Richard Williams. I have the expanded version. I don't know what the different versions entail, but I know the version I have is helpful, so hopefully it can help you. But yeah, this is what I have for this week. I'm pretty happy with how the progress is turning out. Now that I'm getting better at animating actual movements and whatnot, it's going swimmingly, you could say. Yeah. But yeah, that's really it. So, okay, so that's Movement Cycles Part 1. Very basic going into it, just figuring out exactly how a side angle of walking and running works. And now, next week, we're going to dive into different angles. By different angles, I mean the angle where it's like, you know, walking forward. And I'm also going to tackle 4-legged animals as well. There's not too many 4-legged animals in One Piece, but, you know, it's a good thing to know how to do in general anyways. And yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, bud. I have to go soon, unfortunately. I have my walking competition soon, so I got to get on that.